On this episode of My World Podcast, we have the extreme pleasure of meeting a person who actually he does so many different things. I have been learning about him over the past few days, and I am pleased to introduce you to a man named C.P. Lacey. Now, I'll find out what the C.P. stands for. He's a veteran actor. He shared his prodigious gifts with audiences on Broadway, television, and in films. Widely known as the iconic Sandman character on the long-running syndicated show Showtime at the Apollo, C.P. is also prepping for his one-man show that will debut this spring. Good morning, C.P. Thank you for joining us here on My World Podcast.
Good morning. Nice to be here on My World Podcast.
So listen, CP Lacey, what does the CP stand for? Or does it?
The CP, very interesting question. The CP stands for crowd pleaser. You're the one who asked.
Yeah, that would probably do it. That would probably do it. Because as I've seen, I cannot tell you guys. As a matter of fact, if you would just go to his website while you're watching this, you could put the YouTube video over here and you put his website over here, and you can kind of scroll through and see all the different characters he portrays. What is your website?
That's www.cplacey.com. Lacey.
There you go. A very good website, lots of information, and links to videos of the different people that he portrays. The most interesting one, because he's a brown brother, is that he did Michael Jackson. I was so thrilled by that. I was like, whoa, I can't believe you actually pulled that off and made it believable.
Yeah, Michael is interesting in that when I first started portraying Michael, he was my complexion that I am now.
Yeah, that's right. We forget.
Dressed, I had to keep going to Mary Kay until it got to the point where I had to actually custom blend my own makeups.
Well, you did not just the color, but you did him, and so your singing range is, do you ever sing without portraying someone else?
I I do, yeah, I do myself and a ton of others. I do about 30 characters, but I do CP Lacey without the wigs and the rubber noses as well, yeah.
So that's how you do it, those rubber noses. Okay. So give me like your top 5 characters that you play. And by the way, folks, he said 30, so that's a lot. But, what are the top 5 requested characters that you portray?
The top 5 requested would be James Brown, Snoop Dogg, Snoop Lion, Kanye West, Diddy, and President Obama, Michael Jackson, Tina Turner, When the Money Is Right.
I cracked up when you said that, and because who was that? It was I can't think of it. The one who went to South Africa and got rid of his show, and
Oh, Dave Chappelle.
yeah, and he said he didn't want to portray a man in a skirt, and all the black comedians had to do that, da da da, and so that's why you said When the Money Is Right.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you do it. Is she the only woman you do?
I have a created original character that I call Grandma Nye. She's she's a very feisty 80-year-old, but she'll tell you about yourself in a minute.
All right. So hopefully, and I've been told that it's okay to ask you to maybe let's hear some of those voices, but let's talk about what you're doing in the spring and where you're doing it, because this is national. So we will be lucky to be near wherever you're going to do this show.
Well, we're going to move the show around to a theater near you, but we're going to go off Broadway first and make sure that it's really spectacular by the time it gets to you guys. The show is basically, it's the C.P. Lacey show, which I've been doing and enjoying success with for the past, 15, 16, about 20 years now. But what we've done is we've expanded the show to make it more theatrical in nature as opposed to stage show at a concert kind of thing. It's more theatrical now with comic threads, which, threads the show together and make it one cohesive play, if you will. You have the comedy, you have the drama, singing, and dancing all in one show.
Wow.
And we have all of my characters that I put in the show, which makes C.P. Lacey who C.P. Lacey is.
So it'll be the CP Lacey show?
It's the C.P. Lacey show slash theater.
Okay. And have you ever brought it to Los Angeles?
We did Marina Del Rey, that rich area over there. Is that Marina Del Rey?
Yeah, it's a good
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
That's a good
We
one.
did Marina Del Rey. I
Okay.
plan on buying a house there. Yes.
Okay, well, you'll be doing them here for quite a bit. Okay, so now how did you get started in all this? I mean, you were I was hoping you were singing first, and then somewhere along the line, people said, "Man, you do a good whatever you do," but or did it come from you having to sing because you portray so many singers?
You ask great questions. I like
Thank
you.
you.
Um, what happened was the story goes like this. When I was a kid, around 6, 7 years old, my mother and my father used to throw parties a lot, house parties and what have you. And they'd invite all their friends back in the day, and they'd wake me up out of my sleep and say, "Sing for the company." So I used to get angry at that, but then one day the whole thing changed. I sang one night, and they actually started throwing money. I said,
Whoa.
I can learn to
Hmm.
like this. And at 7 years old, I knew exactly what area of occupation I was going into.
So
Show
where were
business.
you? What city, state were you in?
This was Portsmouth, Virginia,
Oh, okay. I'm from. My
right
folks
there
are
on
from Virginia
right
too.
there on the eastern seaboard.
Yeah, yeah, Portsmouth, right. My folks are from Windsor and then over further in Emporia and all. So that's good. So then from Portsmouth, how did you, I know this is a lot to sandwich in, but since you wound up being in Harlem at the Apollo, can you give us like a condensed version of that route?
Well, my father was in the United States Navy, so he moved around a lot. So there was no real place that we called home, home. So anywhere we went was home. And then after he retired from the Navy, we said, well, let's try New York because we had family here. So we came to New York, and once I saw all the theater and all of the anything that dealt with entertainment here in New York, I said, you guys can move wherever you want to move. I'm staying here.
I'll be right here. So where did you start? What was your first big thing?
My first big gig, I believe, my first big paying gig was I must have been 11 years old in Portsmouth, Virginia. I won a school talent show, and someone from outside of the school saw me and said, "We want you to be on this show that we're having here, and we want you to open up for." I forget exactly. It was a well-known artist at the time. I forget who it was. Um,
You were 11.
Yeah, yeah, I forget who it was. But I'm like, I'm opening for this guy.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
And I was 11 years old.
Wow.
In my adult life, my first big gig was in Brooklyn at the Billie Holiday Theater in a play
Wow.
called Tambourines to Glory.
So you are really an accomplished actor as well.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Which, to answer your question, how did I start doing this? I was going up for all of the Broadway auditions, trying to become this great, grand, and wonderful actor. And I noticed that Broadway just kept hiring the same familiar, faces. And you know them, and we all know those faces. They're still on Broadway today. And they wouldn't let any newcomers in because the thing is, those folks in Long Island, they're not going to leave their homes to come to Broadway to see some unknown guy. So I said, you know what? I'm going to start acting like all these famous people on Broadway. That's what started C.P. Lacey, the Impersonator.
So did Michael Jackson ever see your impersonation of him?
Well, his brothers have seen me, and his father, Joe Jackson, has seen me in action.
Uh-huh.
Michael never got the opportunity to see me.
And what about James Brown?
James Brown, I saw him many times. He actually got to see me perform.
Oh, good, good. So what is the response from the people you portray?
You know what? God has blessed me with a tremendous gift to tap into the essence of these characters. I don't take any of the credit.
Hmm.
But the thing is, the best accolade or comment I could get, which I get a lot, is CP, you are scary. When I first heard that, I said, I don't know if I like that. But then I started hearing it so much that that's an actual compliment. When they say
Hmm.
you're scary, I've done it.
You're that scary. Okay, so I know you're doing your show. What else you? There must be other stuff that you have your fingers in.
Well, I do my one man show. I'm also at the world famous Apollo Theater every Wednesday, kicking people's hopes and dreams down the drain as the executioner. Let's straighten one thing out. A lot of people are saying that I'm the Sandman. That's not really a title. That was Sandman Sims' name. He was
Oh,
he was Sandman Sims. That was his name.
the
So I
executioner.
can't. I called myself the executioner
Oh, okay.
because legally I cannot call myself Sandman.
Okay,
That was
okay.
that was his actual name.
Oh,
People
wow.
think that it's a title. He is the Sandman. No, he is Sandman.
Okay. So you now do it and you're called the executioner. Have you been doing this long enough to see careers that maybe you kicked off and they become big now?
Not that I've kicked off and became big, but I've seen people who did not get kicked off become really legitimate artists in the industry.
For example,
I forget this girl back in, David Peaston.
who?
There's that name, David Peaston. He went on to, he broke the record, first of all. He won 8 times uh, at amateur night and went on to tour with Patti LaBelle like on a regular basis. A lot of people know who David Peaston is. He
Right.
really of the Apollo.
Right.
Uh, Another young lady, she got a big recording deal in the '90s. She came out of the Apollo. Um, there's this other guy. He went on to do great, wonderful things. His name is C.P. Lacey. Yes, off-Broadway show coming up in the spring of this year.
Have you ever competed there?
Yes, I won 7. David Peaston broke my record. I won 7 times doing my Michael Jackson and James Brown. Brother, look
Wow.
here. I feel good.
Well, okay, that's good. So that's still very much going on. How do people, if somebody's watching this and they have somebody that they want to introduce to the Apollo's audience, what do they do to get them in?
Well, that's very simple. It's www.apollotheater.org for any of the audition dates. Find out what's going on behind the scenes, and just, you know, register and come on in. And the good thing about the Apollo is we don't turn anyone down. If you're great, great. If you're bad, great.
You want to be able to kick somebody off.
Oh, I got paid too now.
Okay, tell me about your personal life. I saw your beautiful, I'm assuming, wife, same last name.
Your assumption is correct. Yes.
And so tell me, your father, your family man, what's going on there?
Not a family man. Not yet. Our babies are our projects.
Hmm.
We have quite a few things going on. Family life, funny you should ask. We try to draw a very thin line, a thick line actually, between family and business. We try to do a vacation every single year so we can, come back down. So, as far as the family goes, everything is great. God is good all the time, and we just I have 7. I'm the 7th son.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Of how many?
Yes, a 7th son, 1 sister, um, and
How many boys altogether?
that make 8. I'm the 7th son.
Oh, oh, so there are 8 sons. Wow. Well, that's a good.
No, 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 no. Forgive me. I counted me as double. 7 sons. I'm the 7th.
You're the baby, the youngest son. Okay, good. Wow, that's a great, strong Virginia family. My father had a bunch of siblings as well. So, okay, this is my part I've been waiting for because I don't want to mess up everything else. I just want you to give us a little something. Or do you mind if I, by the way, if I just take a little clip from your website so that people can see? I'll cut it into this interview.
That would be great.
Okay.
I would love for you to do that.
But meanwhile, since you're live, since you're right here, what are the things that you like to wow people with when you meet them or not?
I like to wow people with the fact that I am nothing like the person they just saw on stage. I get a big kick out of that because, unfortunately, a lot of these impersonators, the curtain never comes down for them. There's still James Brown when the show is over. There's still Michael when the show is over.
Wow.
Do you know that in the '80s I wanted a Jerry curl so bad, but I never got every one of my friends, everybody who I knew had a Jerry. I never got one because I wanted when the show was over, I did not want to look like, act like, talk like Michael Jackson at all.
Okay. So that's a wig.
Next week I'll get me a Jerry. I don't know.
So you have to, in order to have James Brown hair and Michael Jackson hair and all that, these are wigs.
They're all wigs, yes.
Okay. And so then you said, why do you put on certain noses? For who?
That was just a joke.
Oh,
And I said I put on rubber nose. I don't do any prosthetics at all,
okay.
and that really amazes me. I'm glad when other people are amazed at my talent, but when I amaze myself, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. Little Richard, you have his nose. I mean, maybe if I looked at a picture of him, but you look like the Little Richard.
Shut up.
Thought maybe I don't know. I was going with the bait. It looked to me like you had to put some different things on. Have you done Eddie Murphy?
Yes, I did Eddie Murphy back in the early days. I had a gig doing him on a regular basis. New York had this bus where the tourists could get on this bus and see Eddie Murphy, Sammy Davis, Bette Midler, and all of these icons. And I used to do Eddie back then. It was a cool gig.
Well, structurally, you kind of look like him, color-wise and, your face and your size and all that. That's why I kind of thought you would do that, because you go for the hard ones like Michael Jackson and the others that you don't really, really look exactly like, So
Right.
I was just wondering. So who are the latest ones you've added?
The latest is my newest character, an original character. I call him Otis Gray.
Can we see Otis Gray?
Well, not really, because if you go to is Otis on my website? Is he up there yet? He may be he's definitely on my Facebook somewhere.
Okay.
But he's so new. We haven't even, my web designer haven't even, added him to the cavalcade of characters yet.
Okay.
He's another like 79, 80-year-old guys, and he likes them between 19 and 28. But that there the year he was born, 19 and 28.
Okay. Well, so we're not going to get him today. So who can you give us today? Who did you bring along?
Well, they're always with me, babe, and I see Sammy Davis Jr. is trying to crop up right now as we speak, man. But I do want to say to you, you are a sight for sore eye.
It's funny when you went into that, your face contorts into that Sammy Davis thing, and it's just amazing.
What I did with my eye? Did you see that?
Yes.
What I did with my eye there, man.
So, and I love reading about Sammy. At first, I wasn't really feeling him until I read Yes, I Can. And so I'm sure you have a lot of respect for him as a character as well.
Tons. I say in the play that I'm doing, I say that I watched James Brown. James Brown is the reason why I'm in show business, but Sammy Davis is the one that I studied because he's a quadruple threat.
Yes.
The singer, the dancer, the comedian, and the actor.
And he did it all so well. Yes.
He did it all so well.
And broke doors down while he did it too,
Yeah. I'm sure he had a lot of challenges coming up, but he surmounted all of them.
So what doors are up for you that you have to break down?
Well, a lot of those challenges, let's be real, are still here today. Prejudices are still here today. And I just try to kick down walls where I can, get in where I fit in, and just make it, just like everyone else. But one of the bigger challenges is staying current, staying relevant. A lot of the people are coming out still doing the act that they did, which got them over, 10, 15 years ago, and the phone stops ringing, and they don't know why. There's a new generation of people out there, Not saying that Sammy Davis won't still work, but you got to remember Sammy Davis's crowd are in their 70s now.
Thank you. And it's amazing as you get older, and you may reference to your kids or young people around you, you'll say, oh, you mention somebody, and they're like, who? And it's amazing how the fall off, the drop off. So you can't keep doing Bette Midler if people don't know who Bette Midler is,
I mean, if you do Bette Midler to an 18-year-old, she's still entertaining.
Yeah.
But it's like, who is that? It's
Yeah.
entertaining, but who is that?
Yeah. Because part of it is how well you do it. Now let's take a break, and we're going to watch you since you're already in full regalia, you're doing your thing, and that way we don't have to put you on the spot. So let's just take a few minutes and watch some of the characters, and you can go to his website and see them yourself, cplacey.com. But let's go ahead and listen or watch CP Lacey in action.
Then I spit like this, you ain't know. Then I roll like this, you ain't know. Then I'm wicked like this, you ain't know. But I bet you know now. Let me call you if I go let me call you when you pain only one time till
Greetings, my fellow Americans. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of my constituents on both sides of the aisle. And at this time, I'd like to also, by satellite, thank a lot of folks who made it possible for another 4 years for yours truly. I see on the satellite we have a big supporter, Mr. Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne, I want to say thank you very much for all the work you've done down south with your YMCMB and the entire Young Money clique. Thank you very much. Can I call you Wheezy?
Wheezy, baby.
Thank you very much, Wheezy.
Wheezy the bed.
Excuse me, what? Didn't catch that.
This guy's that.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Yeah, the lollipop.
the band. Hitman. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless you.
You're beautiful. Hey, pretty baby, with the high heels on. You give me fever like I've never, ever known. Feel your fever for miles around. I'll pick you up in my I love you more. Leave the town.
Okay, our last celebrity is pulling up now. This may be the best of all. Ladies and gentlemen, Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg is here.
Izzle kizzle for shizzle. When Snoop Dogg's in the hizzle, that's Snoop talk. For Snoop Dogg is in the house.
So everybody welcome him to the Maury crib, Snoop Doggy Dogg. Control yourselves, people. You apparently don't look a thing like you do now.
Nothing like him, baby.
Is that you? Wow. That's terrific.
Well, actually, I do 30 characters, man.
Who else?
Let's see, I do Snoop, Diddy, Usher, James Brown, Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, Tina Turner, when the money's right.
We sat down with MC Hammer. I hear a little hammer.
First of all, I just want to say that I really enjoyed being here with you. And I want to say hello to everybody on the West Coast. How y'all doing?
We're fine, Stevie. Thanks for coming to My World Podcast.
Thank you. I'm really honored to be here,
My
to be with you all.
Have you seen C.P. Lacey and the work we just saw? That was incredible.
C.P. Lacey is a very good friend of mine. And actually, I'd like to do a song that I made famous about 5, 6, 7, around 30 years ago. Remember this one? You called my name, ooh, so sweet, to make your kissing complete. That's all you get. It's a budget show.
Oh, C.P. Lacey, folks, he's doing, and not only the look, the glasses, the braids, but the hesitation, because everybody, when Stevie gets to talking, he's a deep guy, but when he gets to talking, sometimes we're like, okay, Stevie, get to the point.
Yeah. That's what I pride myself on as well, because let's say 98% of the audience loves Stevie Wonder. Mm-hmm. Then you get that 2% are just fanatics over Stevie. Those are the people who I perform for. You know, it's like when I do Michael Jackson, 98% of people love him. There's that 2% that are infatuated. So when they see me do this with my finger, they're like, oh my gosh, he even does that? Most Michael Jackson impersonators won't go that deep. So I'm a stickler for detail for the fanatics, for whatever character I'm doing.
And did you guys see his Michael Jackson? That's what I was talking about. It's so on point that you can lose yourself and just think Michael's still with us. But wow. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you want people to know?
The biggest thrill for me is when the Smithsonian approached me and asked if they could put a couple of my Apollo costumes on exhibit at the Smithsonian. And there I am, right smack between Tony Bennett and Elvis Costello.
Really? Wow, that's an honor.
That's huge.
That is huge. That is major. Okay, well, that's something we can look forward to. When you're in D.C., go to the Smithsonian and look for C.P. Lacey's outfits. So who does all these outfits for you?
I have a lot of my things made. Cordy and I go shopping around to different stores, and we'll piece things together, and she'll work some magic to make it work.
Okay. Do you do any basketball players?
I don't think so.
You do Spike Lee?
I do Spike Lee.
Really?
Yeah. You gotta go to my Facebook and look at my.
I thought I looked at it all. I swear I've been up to here in C.P. Lacey for the last few days. I must have missed Spike Lee. I can imagine how you do him.
Yeah. And that's, like I said to you, sometimes I amaze myself and surprise myself. Spike Lee really amazed and surprised me when I saw that.
Wow.
I didn't even know I had him in me. Cordy saw him in me. She said, you know, you can do Spike Lee. I said, get out of here.
Wow. I really appreciate you sharing your talent with us. I really do. C.P. Lacey has a show that's coming up. So when you hear that name and you hear him coming to a city near you, go ahead and make the, go buy the ticket, support the brother, because he's talented. You can hear his singing. And during the show, are you going to stop and do C.P. Lacey at all?
Now that you've mentioned it, I just wrote the word "the end" on my stage play. I think I'm going to have to go and rewrite and do C.P. Lacey in the stage.
I think people would love it. I would love to see it, and I can't wait till you come to the Los Angeles area. Wherever you are, you know, he travels, and he can take this show on the road. How many other people, or is it a one-man show?
It's a one-man show, okay. And I have a couple of dancers at the beginning who bring the show on with a big, exciting opening number. But after that, you don't see anyone else on the stage except me and my alter ego characters.
Wow. Well, I'd like to thank you for speaking with us. I when I first learned about you, I said, impersonation, But you're not the typical impersonator, and you have so much more going for you. So thank your wife and Gil Robinson for setting this up. And again, you can go to cplacy.com, Lacey, and you'll get lost in watching his stuff. And you can go to YouTube and just put in CP Lacey, all kind of other stuff comes up. It's really a body of work that has spanned over how many years now?
21 years.
And you look so young. Well, you did say you were 11. Huh. Do the math. Okay. So
Yes,
thank you
and you
very
can
much.
follow me also on Twitter at GoCPLacey.
Okay, that's Twitter. And what about Facebook?
Facebook is The CP Lacey Show.
Okay, so go ahead and like him and follow him at Twitter. And I'm glad you're up on the social media because you're going to need it as you branch out and go all over and probably all over the world because that's where we are, a global community right now. So thank you again for speaking with us at Sunday Morning Live. It's been our pleasure.
I want to thank you for having me on your show and giving me this opportunity. And if Michael Jackson were here today, I'm sure he'd say, I thank you for having me, and I want you to always remember, you are not alone. Bye.